Right, folks, look, there's no way of dressing this up. We've got to start around the situation with Mohamed Salah. This situation has evolved as the day has gone on, and I'm going to take you through a timeline of how these events unfolded and where we're at right now. So, let's start out with the Egyptian FA, who released a statement at around 3 p.m. today, and this is what that first statement had to say. The medical survey conducted on our first national football team mission showed that our international player Mohamed Salah was infected with the coronavirus after the survey came back positive. Obviously a bit of translation there, some words a little bit lost in translation. Although he's not suffering from any symptoms, the rest of the team tested negative. Our international star was subjected to the medical protocol after the coordination of the national team doctor, Dr. Mohamed Abu Alala, with his English club Liverpool. In addition to isolating him inside his own room and also isolating all those involved, our star is undergoing more tests in the next few hours. That was the first statement that came out from the Egyptian FA around 3 p.m. today. That was where the news really broke. Now, obviously, people then reacted to the fact that he was at his brother's wedding. There was pictures of him masked. There was pictures of him unmasked. But most importantly, people are asking why he was allowed to attend his brother's wedding. We'll address all that in a couple of minutes. Let's move on, because as the day unfolded, so did this story with the Egyptian FA. So at around an hour later, so let's go at roughly 4 p.m., the laboratories of the Ministry of Health have indicated that 3 players from the Egyptian FA and Togo teams have tested positive before the match between the two teams tomorrow. Other tests will be conducted from the aforementioned players to determine their position on participation. As I said, so that statement, the first statement was pulled down, second statement was put up, and then late tonight, just before we come on, it comes out. And again, I think this has been confirmed, absolutely, but again, please do your own research on this. It certainly does look like Mohamed Salah has tested positive and will be ruled out, of course, for a minimum of 2 weeks. So start from that whenever you want, ladies and gentlemen. We'll dig into it. We'll see how you're feeling about it. I have my own thoughts on it, of course. Look, there's a human side to everything that we talk about. There's also a common sense side to everything that we talk about. But most importantly, this all leads back to these pointless, unnecessary, ridiculous international breaks that have been forced upon players in a time where they're now travelling all around the world, leaving their secure enough Premier League bubbles to go off with their national teams, travel, stay, mix with other players, and then come back to their clubs. Whatever you think about that, and I disagree with it massively, particularly the friendly side of it, and the fact that this is the third international break since the season has started, it's ridiculous, but we are where we are. So rather than coming on here and me having a rant about Mohamed Salah being at his brother's wedding, which, by the way, as I said, there is a human side to. He's not just a footballer, he's a human being. So you got to park that up as well, but look, I don't even want to dip into his brother's wedding too much because, quite frankly, that's none of my business, that's none of my concern. He obviously got the approval to go to the wedding from the club, and I'm sure that he was told to take whatever precautions. I don't know, I'm not inside the camp. What we know for certain right now is that Mo is out. Mo is ruled out for about 2 weeks, and we have to try and address this situation. Massive game coming up against Leicester City next weekend as well. We're going to be without Mo for that one. We could well be without Mo for the Atalanta game in the Champions League as well. And that's before we even start to talk about Joe Gomez. So look, on the Mohamed Salah stuff, let's have our say in the chat. Let's get it all out. If you want to vent. I promise you I won't judge you for it. And then we'll come back into the chat and we'll try and figure it all out. Right, 10-day isolation. Surely it's 10 days, not 2 weeks. Again, 10 days, 2 weeks. Sorry, I'm paraphrasing here. But either way, he's out of the Leicester game by the looks of it. Not bothered about him going to his brother's wedding. So Kay's next to Iniesta. He'll have memories from that won't happen again. It's a massive occasion. Yeah, exactly. There's a human side to it. There's a common sense side to it as well that makes you think, well, why is the wedding going ahead perhaps in the midst of a global pandemic with such a large gathering? But then again, it's not my place to judge Mo for that. He's a human being. We all do these things. If it was my brother's wedding, probably would have went. Now, I don't have a brother, but if I did, I probably would have went. What else we got? He's showing no symptoms, so it's 10 days. That's brilliant. That's great news. Exactly. You hope if anybody comes back with a positive test that they show no symptoms, they are asymptomatic, and that they recover as quickly as possible. But it still rules him out of the Leicester game. So look, our first priority here should be with our player, which is Mohamed Salah, and wanting him to get well and wishing him a speedy recovery and making sure that he has all the support and necessary tools needed to get back playing football as soon as possible. That's where we are. Whether we get angry about it or jump up and down, shout, throw our toys out of the pram, that's where we are right now. These international games during a pandemic are a joke, I agree. More concerned about the defence. Again, we'll get on to that, of course. We haven't even touched on the Joe Gomez news. There's so much for us to get through tonight, folks. Will Minamino get his Premier League chance? Probably, but again, we'll touch on all of that as well. Any more thoughts? Craig, a United fan, I wish him good luck for the rest of the season. Thank you, Shazabe. Really appreciate that. Very kind of you. 10 days, missed the Leicester game, but there's still a chance. I don't think there is a chance, mate, to be honest with you, because you're going to have the 10 days, right? And then you're going to have him travelling back as well. And then he'll have to be tested by Liverpool and all that. So, I don't know. It's probably going to be a chance for us to give Mohamed Salah a bit of a break. If you want to try and take any positive from this whatsoever, and look, there's not many to be taken. You can look at it as a chance that maybe Mohamed Salah is going to get a bit of a rest now ahead of what will be a really hectic period coming up. Yes, he still had to travel over to Egypt, of course. Yes, there's still a lot of stuff to go through. But let's try and take a positive out of it. Can we get through the Leicester game without Mohamed Salah? Yes, we probably can. As people have pointed out, there's massive questions to be asked about what happens defensively. And we will touch on that as well. But I'm just trying not to get drawn into the negativity, ladies and gentlemen, because there's going to be enough of that surrounding us. There's going to be enough of that from the outside. I've seen it on social media today as well. People jumping all over this, saying that Liverpool's cracks are starting to show. We need to show them that nothing is going to break this team's spirit, folks. And we need to get behind them. Rather than going out there and slating our own players. Again, it's not what we're about. It frustrates the hell out of me. And I know that people are annoyed. I know that people are wound up. But nobody does any of this shit intentionally, folks. Is Thiago fit to play? From what I can gather, yes, he's back training, and you do hope, of course, that he's fully fit and available to play in that midfield. And that could be a massive difference maker for us, and we'll touch on that as well. But look, ladies and gentlemen, before we even go on about this, the injuries are starting to mount up as well. On top of Trent Alexander-Arnold, who we know is ruled out for about 4 weeks, so should be about 2 weeks after the international break, the news, of course, broke over the last few days about Joe Gomez pulling up in England training and going down in excruciating pain holding his knee. That has since been confirmed that he's had an operation on his knee to repair the patella tendon, I believe it is. And look, he's going to be back at some point later in the season by the looks of it. No idea when, no time frame. Let's just look north of Christmas and go from there. Probably longer, but I'm just throwing it out there. He won't be back anytime soon, so we do need to plan without Joe Gomez, without Virgil van Dijk for the foreseeable. It's a massive kick in the nuts, considering especially when we've left Joel Matip and Fabinho's not even a centre-back, but Joel Matip, you immediately start questioning, can Joel put a run of games together? Will Joel be able to carry, I suppose, take up the slack of the central defensive nightmare until we get players back? And look, if you're a betting man or a betting woman, you'd probably say he's going to pick up a little knock at some point. What have we got? It's a good opportunity to bring in a few centre-backs in the January window, said John Fitzgerald. Now Liverpool can show how good we really are, says Yumna.